in advance like I usually do. I did not post this to go live in advance as I usually do. I just went live this morning um, because this week has been very, very busy. It's the week of Thanksgiving, and tomorrow I'm going to my mom's house for Thanksgiving. If you guys are not familiar with this, if you forgot, if you're not in the States, understandable. But for those of us in the States, yeah, Thanksgiving usually is a pretty big deal. So, been very busy. On top of that, I had to do some stuff in the city yesterday in Manhattan, so was kind of busy. So, I didn't plan this in advance. I didn't set this up in advance, but we're just gonna hang out and have a conversation today. So, yeah, you know, it's it's kind of getting it's kind of getting into close to the new year, and it's a time where I'm kind of just assessing. Okay, what did I do in the past year? Right? What did I do in the past year? What did I accomplish? How did I grow? Right in the past year, and it's good to take some time to think about that yourself. In fact, as you might have seen on my community post and also in my last live stream, I did post now a free mini course that you guys can check out. Again, if you don't know where that is, it's in my community post, my most recent community post. You can check that out. It's totally free, has a bunch of worksheets, has a bunch of exercises there, as well as the actual video course content there that you can check out. So again, completely free. Feel free to check it out. I know a lot of you have been asking me lately for more free resources, like more free, stuff that you could do for critical thinking skills and cognitive skills. And I think it's like 6 or 7 worksheets there that go along with it. So a lot of practice you can do, and you can reach out to me anytime to kind of further clarify anything. But I'm trying to make it as value packed as I possibly could. So feel free to enjoy that. And it's all about decision making. It's very, very relevant to planning our goals for the next year. And it's not something like where, yes, it's very important to believe in yourself, and it's important to have, think big and all that other stuff. Like, yeah, okay, great, it is. But then when it comes down to the actual practical goal setting stuff, it's very important. Back when I will tell you guys, back when I was in my first business and I was working with a lot of people in like sales, right? And doing a lot of sales and like appointments and stuff. And one thing I saw that was the most lacking was this. And it might even shock you. It might not shock you. But a lot of people, and yeah, you're bringing me your toy. Okay, great. Here you go. All right. My dog is bothering me by bringing me her toy. But yeah, look at this. She actually wants to to do this, right? Um, so so yeah. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Yeah. Okay. So the most shocking thing I saw was there were people who would set goals. They would set up these goals and these action plans for what they're gonna do, in the next year, and they have these big goals, right? Hey, yeah, welcome. Yeah, they have these big goals, like, oh, I want to, make this much money in the year, and I want to do this, and I want to get this, and I want to hit this goal, and fantastic. But then you sit with them, and you're like, okay, well, how are you going to do that? And like, can you actually welcome, act on it, and happy birthday, pull and never be heard again. Yes, welcome, and happy birthday. They have these big goals, right? And ask yourself, are you like this sometimes? You have these big goals, but then, okay, how do you actually break it down? Like quarter by quarter, month by month, week by week, maybe day by day. What are you going to do? What are the daily habits that it breaks down to achieve it? What resources are you going to seek out to achieve it? What are going to be some of the obstacles in the way to you achieving that? They never thought about those things. It would really frustrate me. To this day, I still see it, and it really frustrates me. People have these huge goals. Oh yeah, I have this goal. I'm gonna make $1 million, and I'm gonna crush it. Cool, all right, but first of all, why the heck do you want that thing? All right, is it even your goal in the first place, or somebody set that up for you? Because you think you should want that, right? That's number one. Number two, do you have a step by step action plan as to how that's going to happen? Number three, if you have a step by step action plan, what are the flaws in your action plan? What not what could go wrong, what is almost certain to go wrong, right? And that's what people don't plan for, right? And I remember it from a sales context. Like, how many people, like, what's your conversion rate gonna be, right? They couldn't do a conversion rate, like conversion from this rate to like the, how many they need to do, how many that boils down to per day. Like, actually, it's just astonishing. People are either, it's not even people can't do it, because I don't believe people can't do that calculation. It's like a simple math, like simple calculation. Um, I think we're just not willing to do it. We love the hype, but we're not into the, actual focused daily little boring things that we need to get in the, into do, right? Um, so let's see. Lawrence Minskoy, I feel lucky in my job because it's not toxic and there are a lot of improvement. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, and then yeah, hello, hey, welcome, Lawrence, welcome. Yeah, minimum efficiency. Funny name. Yeah, I don't get it. I really don't get, and I get it from the standpoint. I mean, I get it from the standpoint of psychology because yeah, there's a lot of, pretty clear. I mean, if you look into psychology, look into basic psychology research. When are people the most motivated? At the beginning of something. When are they the least motivated? In the middle, and then toward the end, they're a little bit more motivated, right? Because they can see the end coming and so on and so forth. But man, like to that in that middle part is where you have to keep your motivation. And actually, I was talking about this with a friend the other day. When we say motivation in popular speech, like folk psychology or like just everyday speech, that term motivation, and how psychologists use the word motivation, they're pretty much two completely different things. They are, and we don't realize that. And it's actually important to understand that difference, so we understand, like, what do I mean by motivation? I mean simply what, okay, more true to the psychology definition, but what actually leads you to do something. What leads you from some point where you are now to taking some action B, right? Point A to taking some action B. And yeah, there are a lot of triggers. We could talk about the reward system, dopaminergic neurons and stuff like that, right? Okay, that motivate you to go from A to B. In fact, how powerful that is very powerful, right? You can have all this psychological motivation. That's what happens in depression too, right? You can have all the psychological motivation, right? I really want to do something, but then that circuit is not working properly. Those synapses are not working properly. It's not, not going to happen for you. Um, that's something else that people should understand. Um, welcome. Hey, Noah, welcome. but but basically, yeah. So yeah. Anyway, check out my free course. It's a totally free. Got lots of worksheets in there. It's on my community post, my most recent community post. So you can go log into that and take advantage of that. So I think it's more than an hour. It's a mini course, but again, really really concrete stuff about decision making, and goal setting indirectly, but some of the things that can get in the way. A lot of the things that psychologically get in the way of that. Biases, cognitive distortions, but also lots of frameworks in there and worksheets that you can use. You can download those free worksheets and then start filling them in. And then come New Year, you'll be just prepared. So, do I teach Minecraft lessons? I have some students who do Minecraft. I have some students who do Minecraft, so I don't teach Minecraft lessons. They probably could teach me more about Minecraft. So let's see. So Cairo. Yeah, sure, I can help. Maybe if it's something that I can help, I could probably help. Steve Gabin, getting stuff done is, yeah. So don't be incompetent. Well, easier said than done. I actually think yes. Are there natural limits to, for instance, people's intelligence? Yes, there are. However, and here's the big however that most people don't understand. Yeah, there are limits. There are natural limits to people's intelligence. However, and this is just even my experience, extensive experience working with hundreds of students with test preparation on all different topics. Most people have not even reached, we don't know where most people's limit is because most people don't even get close to their limit. Most people don't get close to their limit of what their limit of intelligence is. They just don't get close. um, Beware of this, especially in the new year. Beware of this kind of thinking, the following kind of thinking, because I see it all the time. I've seen it in business, and I've also seen it in teaching students. So it's this: right? I've done all the fill in the blank, the homework, the practice, the sets, you could apply it to a lot of things. I've done all the work. I've done all the work. I've done all the practice. I've done all the learning, but I still can't get it. I still can't do it. And usually what that is, okay, what that is it's it's not actually, it's true in a sense, but it's true on a surface level. Most of the time people say that so they can create a nice excuse for for failing in a sense, right? And I hate to be that harsh, but like in that brutal, but it's the truth. It's just the brutal truth. It's just the honest truth. Is most people use that as an excuse, and hell, I've used it as an excuse before. Oh, I've done all the research into this. I've done all that. I still can't get it. I still can't get the result I want. Yeah, but then go back and look in a fine-toothed, fine detailed way. Did you really do every single part the way a successful person in that domain would do it? What are some of your blind spots still? Be honest with yourself. Like, where are you really being lazy? Where are you not really putting in? It's not just effort, right? It's not about just effort. Just put in lots of effort, do lots of work. No, it's not about that. It's, are you putting in the smart types of effort? The smart, targeted, efficient types of effort. And that's where people, again, they use effort as an excuse. Oh, I put in lots of effort. I put in all this effort. I did all the work. I did all the practice. I'm still failing. Good excuse, right? Again, good excuse, perfect excuse, but it's just an excuse because you really just are using the work as an excuse for, yeah, it really is just an excuse. But are you deeply going, like, reverse engineering, analyzing your process, really analyzing your process, going deep into the process and analyzing it? Are you seeking out resources proactively to fine tune and isolate the mistakes? Isolate the problems? Or are you just saying, oh, I did work, right? So good. If you want to use that as an excuse, then go ahead. That's a fine excuse you can use, right? Let's take a look at some of the comments here. So Cairo, you said problem with taking decisions and managing knowledge or information. Actually, my simple answer to this, I just dropped a free mini course about this. You can go check out the most recent community post I have. It's again totally 100% free mini course, multiple worksheets and exercises you can do for exactly that, what you're talking about there with decision making. And then 2, you said unnecessary. So I'm going to go down all these comments one by one. Unnecessary and unrelated fear, anxiety, powerlessness in normal situations. So that's a little bit different. It's more like psychological. There could be many, many reasons for that. It really depends. I can speak to my own process with that. Something that I do more and more, and this is really a part of, again, this is part of what I talk about on my channel too, like metacognition, self-regulation. I'll actually have a video coming up on self-regulation shortly. But basically, okay, what happens in difficult situations? Like, yeah, we want to make decisions and we have the right frameworks and we have, whatever you're working on, you want to have the right frameworks and the right systems, right? Perfect. But what if you don't have the right self-regulation? What if you're always catastrophizing? Something goes wrong and then you catastrophize. Oh, I'm a loser. Oh, I probably can't do it. Oh, I'm not cut out for this. and you just go into that spiral. Well, guess what? That happens to pretty much everybody. Listen, if you say, I'll admit it, it happens to me. Like, it happens to me. All right. So what happens what I do when that happens is I'll actually consciously call out my own BS. I'll call myself out for BS. And what that looks like is I will acknowledge that spiraling is happening, and I will actually literally tell myself, shut the hell up. Like, shut up, be quiet. And I'll do more than that. You have to logic it to death. You just have to, pour logic on it, and you have to say to yourself, right? I do this. I do this not all the time, but I do this from time to time when that happens. I say, okay, wait a second, wait, hold on. Did the conclusion that you made, right? All of those conclusions that you made, do they really logically follow from each other? Do you actually have evidence for these things that you're concluding? And then that usually stops it right in its tracks for me. Because it's like, well, if you really expose it to logic and scrutiny like that, it starts to dissipate, because you start to realize now you're just being irrational. You're just being irrational. And so that helps me a lot. Okay. So let's take a look. True people do love to cope rather than out in the work. Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Let's take a look. Lawrence, I've been in my work almost 5 months, but I feel like I'm not improving much like other batch, and I feel that people is disappointed in me, but I feel I'm sabotaging myself. How can I fix this? Well, hopefully what I just said actually answers a little bit of your question. Let me know if it does, and if that tool helps you. I am 67 years old. I assure you I'm not, but you can, if that floats your boat, then cool. All right. Kuma, how can I get excellence in my civil engineering studies? Yeah, so if you weren't here for what I said before, and hey guys, I know a lot of people are basically saying hi, all right, hey back. So, civil engineering studies, okay. How can you get excellence? Well, this is just a general comment for how you can achieve excellence in any studies. And it's maybe it's, I mean, it depends on what level of excellence you mean. I will give you some experience of when I was writing my first book, which the peer review, took a lot of work, like over 300 pages. When I was poor, I was obsessed. I think I'll just be honest from my experience. You have to have a level of obsession with it. You have to have a level of obsession with, I love these are the feelings you have to have. It actually is more than like a rational thing. You have to feel, I love this. I absolutely love it. And for civil engineering, yeah. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you. In civil engineering, you have to then be honest with yourself. Do you love this? Right? You could love anything. You could love many types of things. Do you love it? You pour you love to think about it. You love to think about problems in civil engineering. You love to think through the solutions. You love the process. And then number two, and here's another feeling I think you have to have for excellence is, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why this actually beats raw ability. I will tell you why it beats raw ability. And again, I've seen it. I've taught, and this is not an exaggeration. I've taught hundreds of students. I don't know how many hundreds, but I've taught hundreds of students. So I've seen many different topics, and I've seen this. So two, you have to feel like it's purposeful. So I remember thinking back. Now, if it's true or if I was just delusional or whatever, it doesn't matter. But I felt at the time when I was writing that book and putting all the drafts together and everything and researching everything and pouring in being tirelessly effortful about it. One thing that I kept thinking was this needs to be written. This needs to be done. This needs to be written. Hey, feel free to check out my content on my channel. You asked what's my content. So, It's about critical thinking. About critical thinking. So building our critical thinking. So I'll tell you why these two things are so powerful for achieving excellence. And again, I've seen it with students as well, learning things. Even if you are, for instance, like intelligence, part of intelligence is like efficiency, right? At least like general intelligence. Even if you go to maybe like a little step beyond that, like, there are two intelligences: crystallized intelligence, fluid intelligence, if you accept that model, which is widely accepted and not just the singular model of G. Anyway, basically what is that general intelligence is about it's like, broadly speaking, raw efficiency. It comes down to efficiency of processing and things like that, right? Broadly speaking. Okay, so somebody who's really efficient at processing information, versus somebody who's really, really passionate about something and has those two qualities, but maybe is less efficient at processing information. Well, who's going to win at the end of the day? Who's going to win? The person who is maybe less efficient at processing the information, but has more drive, right? So definitely has more drive. So I haven't the first clue on what I'm talking about. Okay, all right. Well, great assumption. Why don't you can ask me some questions if you feel that way, but yeah, I've done a lot of research on this, so peer reviewed on this topic, so I think I know what I'm talking about. So in terms of this kind of raw processing power, that person is definitely going to outperform it. We know from research too, and it's not just my experience. We know from research. More and more research is showing that in many cases, actually, critical thinking ability outperform or outpredicts IQ in terms of life success. For instance, if we go into a different domain, what's called successful intelligence. This is Robert Sternberg's model of intelligence. It actually predicts success more at a more granular level, and I'll talk about what that means in more domains, and is more widely applicable than IQ-based prediction. So, for instance, let me give you an example. IQ will predict very well your academic success and your career success as measured by income level, and to a large extent competency in the career, right? There are a couple of ways that's measured. Academic success as well, yes, for sure. What's called successful intelligence, which is kind of a three-part model. It's called the triarchic model, Robert Sternberg's model, has been tested and validated widely, and it predicts IQ predicts a broad level of success. Okay, on average, how successful will somebody be, GPA wise, and so on and so forth. The Sternberg's model predicts even at a more granular level. So, for instance, how successful you'll be, not only, let's say, if you're in an engineering major, but how successful you'll be if you're an art major, how successful you'll be if you are a business major, right? So it's even more domain specific, and so it has a little bit more usefulness there with respect to prediction as it applies to various domains, and this also applies to career success too. It's more it's a better predictive of career success on multiple dimensions of success. For instance, IQ will measure competency within a narrow range, or it will predict competency within a narrow range of success outcomes, among them being income. But the great thing about the successful intelligence model, this triarchic model, is that it tends to be better at predicting success on multiple dimensions, not just income. And so it's very, very, very interesting. Now, I am being simplistic because IQ does measure success. It's a very good predictor of success. But there are some critiques. There are some critiques of why it's a good predictor of success. But we won't get into that in this in this video. So, your tips really helped me manage stress during. Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I love to hear that you guys are actually benefiting from, the tips and the insights. I do my best, right, to provide some value. So, guys, check out, on my community tab, the latest post on my community tab, you can find my free course on rational decision making, and it's just in time for the new year. It's a free mini course, not just the video module itself, but also many worksheets that you can use for practice and templating your own decisions. So check that out. Feel free to check that out. And if you want to work with me personally, there's more info in any of the descriptions in my in any of the descriptions of my videos. Right, you can check out the Critical Thinking Academy. So guys, I really appreciate being with you here every Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And guys, if you celebrate Thanksgiving, if you're in the United States, then happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. I'll be with my family tomorrow. Big holiday here, and enjoy. And I will see you next week or my next video. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. Take care, guys.